Hi, my name is Tracey Cook and welcome to the podcast series Victim to Victory. This series gives a voice to those that have overcome obstacles in all forms, that dare greatly to share their real stories. Amazing humans that have seen hope and risen above those adversities to become victorious, that now support and inspire others to do the same. Today we have a very special, empowering, inspiring, educating, all-encompassing heart leader, and her name is Elaine Payne. Welcome to Victim to Victory.
Thank you so much, Tracey. So nice to be here.
Oh, it is a pleasure.
Blessed.
I am blessed. I am blessed to have you here. I'm very excited for this interview because I know how much value you bring. I know how much inspiration and education you bring to the table. And today we're going to get to know a little bit more about the deeper side of Elaine. And I know that you have a strong story to tell us and share with us, and how brave you are to step into that story for us as well. And before we get started on that, I've got a little bit of information to share about Elaine as well. Now, she is a clinical nurse educator. She is a woman of faith. She loves reading, and she's a master gardener. Isn't that wonderful? Who enjoys giving large parties, loves movies and challenges with herself like knitting. Now, there's more to her than that. There is 41 years of hospital nursing, and she specialises in critical care practice for adults and pediatric populations, as well as nursing education. She taught clinical nursing at Clemson University, University of South Carolina Upstate, and Greenville Technical College. Everyone, this woman is a powerhouse. She has so much knowledge and education and life experiences, and we want to delve into Elaine's story today. So, Elaine, where does your story start?
Well, it actually started in childhood. When I was an only child, and so a lot of my time when I was not playing with neighbors and friends that I could possibly be with, I had a lot of time to read. And at the same time, my father instilled in me a value of freedom, of being self-sufficient, of enjoying freedom, enjoying choices. And from there, I basically chose a nursing career. And interestingly enough, I graduated on a Thursday from nursing school, and I started working on that next Monday. And I never stopped for 41 years. But at the end of that 41 years, I was beginning to feel that as much as I love critical care nursing, and I still love it, and never was dissatisfied with it, nor with education, I realized I was looking at life a little bit skewed, whereas a lot of people were just living life, and I was looking at people and thinking, are they breathing okay? You know, what do we need to do? Are you sure you're feeling well? And I thought, well, that's not exactly normal. So I decided after 41 years that I would retire from nursing, with the plan of never doing anything else except what I wanted to do on a daily basis. But after about 4 years, I suddenly felt like something was missing. And I didn't really even know what that was, but I just knew there was a gap. So my friend introduced me to a possibility in network marketing, and I thought, this is, whatever, this seems pretty good. So basically, that's what I began to do for fun, basically for fun. And through that, I met people from all over the world, and it just kind of started from there.
That is wonderful. Now, take us back to your time during nursing as well. What would have been some of the challenges, maybe emotionally, that you've had to deal with during that time as well, that's built you the life skills to be able to communicate on a different level now?
I have so many special people from nursing. I have a lot of people and a lot of patients that I know, but who never were able to speak to me. And I know their families. And after 30 something years, I still keep up with those families, and they send me Christmas cards and I send them Christmas cards. And it just is such a meaningful part of life. And I've been beside persons dying so often, and it's so hard. But at the same time, I know that it's not the end. And I look forward to getting to know those persons, especially the babies and the children.
Mm. And it's such an emotional thing to go through when you're at the bedside of somebody, maybe their family's around, they're, just about to pass over. What goes through your mind emotionally at those kind of times as well?
Tracey, when I began in critical care nursing, visitation was very rare in the ICU. And I became a manager in a pediatric ICU. And one of the first things we did was allow families to stay. And what we would say to those families is, if there's something that you know about your loved one that we need to know, we want you to tell us. And that one little statement made them trust us and made them love us. And they would actually nurture the nurses. So the families were there all the time. And when we would lose a patient, many times we knew that we were going to, and so we would have the family, we would be right there with them. We would grieve as much as they grieved, and we would cry. And the hard part, I think back about it, and sometimes after that, we would go do the same thing at a different bedside. So you kind of regroup and go to a different way. It was not uncommon for there to be 3 deaths in one day. But we tried to make each one meaningful for that family and meet their needs.
And how did you cope with kind of the stressful days? Because obviously it is going about your work. There's still that emotional element to it. But on those really tough days, how did you push through that?
Well, I think back about an example of one of those tough days, and that would be that there was a family who came home from vacation, and they had 3 children, all small. One was a baby. And while they were unloading the car, one of the brothers picked up a gun that was in the dashboard and accidentally shot his sister. So we had the whole family and the little boys to come and visit with their sister because she was not going to survive. But that day, it was just, I thought, how in the world is this family going to do this? How are we going to do this? But we relied on the nurses, we would rely on each other, and we would rely on the families too. We would give to them and they would give back to us. And what I learned, and this was the hardest thing to learn, but I try to share this with others. When I would get in my car to go home, I would think, I'm going home to my family. And I would try to leave those families there. I would pray all the time for them. I prayed incessantly, but I would go home and enjoy my family. Now, many days that meant I was just going to grab my family, each one of them, and hug them and kiss them, because I know that basically we're all walking time bombs, and every day is the day we should think that's the last day we're together.
We are. We
Right.
often forget that, don't we? We often forget just how much the things around us are so special. And
Right.
sometimes it takes those moments to bring us back to that centered place of love and belief and
Right.
gratitude of what we do have around us, if we're lucky enough to have those things around us. So thank you very
Right.
much for shedding light on that, because especially in times like we've been going through recently, I think a lot of people would have reevaluated what's important to them. Is it family? Is it, having time freedom? Is it being able to live life on your own terms? So you decide what kind of life you want, almost by design. And it's very important points that you brought up there, Elaine. And, I know how many life lessons and experiences, you would have seen and witnessed and been part of, and, had to get into that car and pray all the way home and go home and hug your family. So, to do that sometimes, I'm guessing on a daily basis as well.
That's right.
Mm. Now, I believe amongst the many wonderful things that you actually do, we have an upcoming book that has just recently been launched. We are collaborative authors. It's the Power of Yes series. This is book number 2. And your wonderful chapter is titled Surprise Catalyst for Freedom to Revel in My Comfort Zone. Tell us a little bit about your chapter in the book.
Okay. When talking about comfort zone, it was very interesting to me to think about that topic and realize that we can live in our values all the time. And that comfort zone is being within our values. And it made me think hard about what my values are, even though I have thought about them before. But my strongest value is freedom. And it is the freedom of choice. And as I mentioned before, my father was in the military. He very much valued freedom, and he passed that on in just little ways. By making me make choices when I really didn't know how to choose. I just wanted to just go along with what seemed to be the right thing to do. But he taught me how important freedom was. And because of that, I learned that you don't have to change yourself in what you're doing. You stay in that comfort zone, you maintain your values. And if there's a situation where you can't do that, for me, I would need to leave it. And that was huge for me to realize that after this many years, what a value freedom was.
Oh, definitely. And I think people appreciate that word more than ever as well. And we're trying to create more freedom and looking at every single aspect of our lives to be able to get that freedom now as well.
Yes.
And when did you first realize that you wanted to be an author and share your story?
I think it was actually in childhood, because I collected books. Well, when I was little, like very little, before school, I had collected 300 golden books, and I was so proud of those 300 golden books. And from there, I would take a book with me everywhere. And I might read 2 pages by the time we went from one block to the next in the car, but that was 2 pages. And I always dreamed of being an author. You know how it was childhood dreams if I'm going to write a book. And but then the opportunity actually came up within the last year, and I was basically terrified because I thought, I'm going to put my words into print and people are going to be able to read them. But it was really has been a joyous and a learning experience. And I've really enjoyed it.
And Stacey Hall, the producer, is so wonderful bringing this collaboration together as well. In The Power of Yes presents Building Your Network Marketing Business Without Leaving Your Comfort Zone. And I love Joe Vitale's endorsement. A lot of people know Joe Vitale from the movie The Secret and many, many other things. That's what he's more popularly known as. And his endorsement and his quote on the front cover of the Power of Yes series book 2 is, dreams do come true. Get this book as the first step towards them and expect miracles. And it just encompasses everybody's stories, like your own personal story, Elaine, as well. And what was one of the most surprising things, do you think, that you learnt in writing your own chapter?
I think in writing it, I wanted to concentrate on trying to convey the meaning that I had gotten from my comfort zone. And I realized that I wanted other people to know that they can just be themselves. And if they want to write a chapter, they can write a chapter. Or if they want to do, they can do whatever they want to do. If I can leave nursing after 41 years and retire and then hop back into something totally new, we can all do that.
Well, we're never too old to reinvent ourselves, are we?
Never. That's right. That's right.
It's a perfect time.
Uh-huh. And Tracey, it's been such a joy getting to like reading the stories of the other authors. It's like an amazing work in that one book of people's lives. So
And isn't
it's
it
been a
wonderful
joy.
how Stacey brings it all together as
Mhm.
well for just such a journey for the reader. And
Yes,
what do you wish the reader really takes away from your chapter?
that people can be comfortable. They don't have to change themselves to be something they're not. They can be themselves. Not compare yourselves with others, but be yourself and actually revel in it, as in the name of my chapter. Just enjoy yourself because that's who you are, and share yourself with others.
And isn't it wonderful when we can step into our own authenticity and just own who we are and really not care what other people's opinions are about us? Isn't it a
Right,
wonderful freeing? We're talking about freedom, a
right.
wonderful freeing place to be.
It
And
is.
we're just so much more relaxed when we're ourselves, right? There's
Mhm.
no BS.
Right.
We love that. We love that. And we've spoken about, just stretching ourselves just a little bit outside our comfort zone,
Mhm.
but really drawing on our strengths and then just kind of, stepping out a little bit when we need to, and staying in alignment with our core values and our beliefs so that we're always totally aligned. And when everything's aligned, miracles happen, just like Joe Vitale said in the endorsement. And what have you got coming up in 2022? We're in 2022. It's a new year. What's coming up for you?
I hope there's going to be another opportunity to participate in a book. And so I'm very hopeful about that and very excited about it.
I love that. I love that. That sounds very interesting. We'll have to watch this space around that because big things are happening in 2022. Elaine Payne is somebody that you need to follow. She's amazing. She has such practical advice for people. She is a servant leader. She leads and speaks and presents herself completely from her heart. She loves her garden, her family, and her faith. And you need to follow her because she's changing lives and showing people how to create the freedom in their lives as well. And what kind of advice would you like to, or message, would you like to leave our audience on today?
I would like to leave this thought that people, they may forget our name, but they will never forget how we make each other feel.
Oh,
And that
powerful.
goes with me.
Very, very powerful. I love that. People will never forget how they make you feel. We believe that, don't we? We know that. We've all
We
been in
do.
those situations. Thank you so much, Elaine. You are absolutely amazing. You're a superstar. Thank you very much for being brave to share a little bit of an insight into who you are and to share your story. And we'll be sharing where to connect with you. You're so appreciated. You can find the Victim to Victory podcast series on Apple, Spotify, and our Facebook group and YouTube. Please subscribe, share, and comment to be the change that the world needs. Just like Elaine Payne does, she teaches people how to change their world to have that freedom and to live life on your own terms. And let me leave you with a message of step into your story, figure out who you are, and do it on purpose. Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you, Tracey, so much.